Good evening, Cumberland County, and welcome to the Boiling Point. And this is Mariana. So, we're here today to talk about Adam Trone. You know, the guy that offered the bribery that I told you about at the West Shore School District. He's one of the school board directors for Region 1. Yeah, that guy. That guy. Okay, so let's start by saying that this year, Cheryl Delozier, our state assembly person, will be stepping down. So we have a couple people throwing their names in for her seat. First, I want to thank Mrs. Delosher for her service. Okay. And now we really have to pay attention to this election, folks, because if we get the wrong person in this seat, we're going to see chaos here in Pennsylvania, in Cumberland County. Okay. So this guy, Cumberland County's number one doxer and bribery expert, decided to throw his name in the hat. Okay. So when my friends told me, I nearly fell off my seat laughing, first and foremost. But then I said, let me see what his website says. And here we go. And we are going to try to be as objective as we can while looking at this website. And we are going to debunk the falsehoods. Okay, so first and foremost, his website is called imaginetrone88.com. Now that title that he used for his website, Imagine, I guess that's a play on John Lennon's song Imagine. And if anybody knows anything about this song, and feel free to do the research yourself and try to prove me wrong, this song is about communism. Okay. And imagine living in this communistic paradise. That's basically what this song is about. Most people do not know that. They allow themselves to be led by, the tune, and that's the thing with music. With music, you have to really listen hard to the lyrics, pull up the lyrics, read them yourself, and you will see that what John Lennon was pushing was communism. So it's not, let's say, surprising to me. It's not ironic that he would use the word imagine, because we who know Adam Trone know that indeed he is a socialist. Now, this is his motto: working for working families. No. He works for everybody who aligns with his ideologies. And if you've gone to any of the West Shore School District meetings, you can attest to that. Okay, that's what he's about, his agenda, and people who align with his agenda. And I'm not making this up, folks. I go to these meetings, and anybody who's been to those meetings who is honest will say that I am correct. Okay, so let's take a look at his website. So when I read this gave me a chuckle. Okay, so this is what he says: imagine things working for working people. Well, that's what we've been trying to get it, to get done, Adam, and you have been part of the problem and not the solution up to now. But let's continue. I I am an old new Democrat. Okay. I'm George H.W. Bush with a smidge more charisma and a love for broccoli, mixed with Bill Clinton minus the sleaze. No, the sleaze is in there too, Adam. As both parties have raced to the extremes, my plan is to own the center of the field. My singular focus is economic issues that plague our communities, which transcends red or blue. I have deep empathy for those who never had a seat at the table. No, he does not. Those who are fighting simply to be heard. Now that makes me laugh because, again, he's one of the people that will criticize those fighting to be heard, especially if you are a conservative. He will shut you down, and then he would what he does the best. He's a keyboard warrior. He will get on his Facebook page and any other page that he does to bash you, your beliefs, or any organization that you may be affiliated with that is not aligned with him. So let's continue. To me, the America's largest threat is algorithms combined with hopelessness. We are adrift because we lack shared purpose and common experience. We will not You will not find me fighting a negative campaign as I want as I want to give residents a choice for a singular focus, one of optimism and empathy rather than a person to vote against. I have great respect for Mrs. Delosure, but we will respectfully disagree on important issues for District 88. So, Adam does not respectfully disagree with anybody. Okay. Now, again, I'm kind of sad to see Cheryl Delosha leave, but I pray to God that during this campaign season, she does not throw her endorsement on Adam Trone, and I will explain that a little later. Okay. Now, who is Adam Trone? Well, I'm going to answer that question. Adam Trone is a progressive Democratic candidate. So he is basically a socialist, a communist. So when he was running for school board in 2023, this organization called the Six Pack out of California decided to throw their support to him. Okay. So who is the Six Pack? So the Six Pack was created as a federal PAC in 2019 to support six carefully selected rural and progressive Democrats running for the House of Representatives. In 2022, they expanded the mission to support six progressive candidates running for office in all parts of California. The goal for our endorsements in California is to expand the progressive bench and to create a more progressive state legislature that will pass laws that are in sync with the California Democratic Party's progressive platform. So basically, if you see in the middle, in the bottom, you see that line in yellow, that's where I highlighted that Adam Trone was one of the people that they endorsed, a candidate that they endorsed, and actually won in 2023. And he also believes that we should follow the grading system that California uses for our kids. And if you look at the rating system, I'll read it to you right now. He is actually part of the dumbification of America. And this is what I mean. So you guys all remember the traditional grading scale in the schools here in the United States. So with the new grading scales based on California's progressive platform, um, the grade of an A, if your child scores between an 84% through 100, that's considered an A. Now, back in the day, and I myself am a former school teacher, back in the day, an 84 was considered a B. Okay, but here they want to lower the scale. Okay, it used to be, um, I believe it was 90 to 100 was an A. Okay, and a B was 80 through 9 no 80 through 85. Okay, or 89. That was a B. Now, here with the new scale, a B will be 64% through 84%. C will be 44% through 64%. D will be 24% through 44%. I mean, really, at this point at C, you fail. Okay, and F will be 0% to 24%. So, this is the grading scale that he feels that the schools here in the United States should have, and it's based on the progressive platform. So he is part of the dumbification of our students here in America. So what Adam Trump really is, no, he's not a George Bush kind of Democrat. I'm sorry, a George Bush kind of Democrat, and he's not even a Bill Clinton kind of Democrat. Okay, he is a socialist. He is a communist. So during this whole election, we're going to keep an eye on this election, and we're going to be following, okay, this his campaign. We want to see how many falsehoods we are going to find him. And here we know we already found the first one. Okay, he likes to play with words. He likes to play with terms. Okay, he's an expert. He's a master manipulator. Okay, and this is what he is already starting to do in this campaign. So keep an eye on that, folks. Keep an eye on that. Now, with that being stated, Let's take a look and let's do a comparison here of what George Bush era Democrats and progressive Democrats stand on certain issues. Okay, so let's start with school choice. The George Bush era Democrats were more open to charter schools and limited school choice reforms as part of bipartisan education efforts. However, with the progressive Democrat, which is what Trone is, okay, they oppose school choice, arguing it harms public schools and it should be restricted. And I can tell you, as a parent that goes to these meetings, and you can just go to his Facebook page and any other social media that he has, and you can prove this for yourself that he is on a constant attack on school choice. He believes that the parents and the students should have no choice but public school. But we all know that public school is failing miserably here in the United States. Okay, and I think we need to take it back to the very beginning. Because in the very beginning, what was normal in the United States, now I'm talking 1800, 1700, etc., was that kids were homeschooled or schooled from a church. Now, public school, when that came into the picture, that was a test, okay? That was a project um, that, as we can see, has failed miserably. Okay, it became the norm because of the convenience of it, but it has failed miserably. And we are seeing that in our time. Now, the approach to conservatism. In the George Bush era Democrats, they were more willing to collaborate with conservatives on education and family policy issues. With the progressive Democrats, the Democrats from today, they strongly oppose to conservative priorities and often frame them as harmful or regressive. As a parent that goes to these school board meetings, I can attest that Adam Trone is against conservatism. He's against conservative parents. He's against the conservative voice. He's against conservative policies. Okay. And he has gone as far as to attack parents again because he's a keyboard warrior. Okay. He's a keyboard warrior on social media on their conservative views. Parents versus state authority. George Bush era Democrats recognize a substantial parental role in education decisions. However, the new progressive Democrats frequently described by critics as believing the state should have the final say over children's education rather than the parents. Okay. So they believe that your child is property of the state and that the state should have the ultimate word and the ultimate say over your child, not you, the parent. That the state should be the ones to make the decision, that the state should be the one to regulate their health, that the state should be the one to regulate their education. And are we seeing that? Are we seeing that? Yes, we are seeing that. Okay. That the state now wants to come through your front door and tell you how to parent your child. And Adam Chung is all for that. Curriculum and educational content. The George Bush era Democrats were less ideological. Okay. There was less ideological conflict over the curriculums, fewer disputes over controversial materials. Now, the Progressive Democrat, which Adam Chung is, they support inclusion of materials critics views as inappropriate or overly ideological or indoctrinational. And I have seen that also in these meetings. Um, Adam Trone has been fighting tooth and nail to keep pornographic novels, okay, inappropriate novels in our schools. He has been fighting tooth and nail for that. He is also backing up the policy that will allow the boys to share the girls' bathrooms, okay, and wash basin and showers. He is also for boys in women's sports. Okay. Now, when it came to that in the West Shore School District, when we were voting, he voted against it, but he was voting against it because he was afraid it was going to affect his buddy's candidacy who was running. That's all. Because then he was apologizing to the LGBTQ community when they got angry at him because they were all counting on him and saying yes, and he apologized. I mean, 50 ways into Sunday to them because he felt that he was forced to make that decision. Okay. And also because during that time, for those who were there, okay, the word had already gotten out among some of us parents that Adam Trong had offered a bribe to a fellow school board director, okay, in an attempt to keep the solicitor that they had before. Okay, he went as far as to bribe that other school board director with the position of president, which he did not have the authorization to do. And a bribe, okay, as small as you may think that is, or as unimportant, insignificant you may think that is, a bribe is still a crime, okay, and it is still considered a felony. Okay. And this is something that we, the parents, made sure that Cheryl Delozier and certain reps, certain lawmakers knew that he was doing this. Okay. So they are aware. And this is what I meant in the beginning, that I really hope that Mrs. Delozier does not throw her endorsement on him, knowing, okay, that he tried to bribe another school board member. Okay. Because she does have the knowledge, like other lawmakers here in Central PA does. Role of public institutions. With the George Bush era Democrats, more moderate stance on state power and institutional authority. With the progressive Democrats, they advocate for stronger state involvement in education, social policy, and child related decisions. Now, he is part of a group called Education Voter PA. And if you go to their website, you will see that they are taught, okay, how to fight the conservative parents. They are taught to label parents, the conservative parents, or parents that have conservative views or against certain, indoctrinations in our schools and certain materials and curriculum in our schools. They are taught to label them as extremist. Okay. And as his friend Terry Mickle, who was also part of it, and actually, I think the liberal part of the school board in the Western School District, almost all of them are part of that, of the education industrial complex. But here, they want the state to have more involvement in your child's education, social policies that they accept, and child related decisions. Again, taking the rights away from the parents and giving it to the state. This is who Adam Trong is, guys. Okay, he's not this George Bush, Bill Clinton kind of Democrat. He's not. Okay, and to prove the point further, here is a little clip from his Facebook account. So here, there was around August. Yes, it was August. A parent in the West Shore School District came and bought some books, some pornographic books, pornographic novels that were in our school libraries, and read from them. Because for almost a whole year or 2 years that he's been there, they have been denying that these books are even in our shelves, and they are. Okay, and the parent proved it. So somebody made this cute. There's this guy called Jerry Brooks. I think he was a principal, a former principal. He might still be a principal. Don't know, but he makes these cute little, videos. Sometimes I laugh because some of them are funny. Okay, so here he puts the video. Okay, which is this particular video. A lot of parents found to be inappropriate. So did I. And he puts this comment. Okay, on his Facebook page. My comments for the policy meeting tomorrow. That meeting, they were going to be speaking about the library policy. I know all of my conservative, liberty loving, anti PC, anti culture friends will agree. If you don't want your child to read a book, exercise parental rights and don't let your child read the book. I'll anxiously await a weird podcast to drop any minute. So the weird podcast that he's speaking about is us here at the Boiling Point. And yeah, we did give him a nice little podcast. I mean, he asked for it, right? And on to the right, you will see me arguing a parent that had the audacity to state that the Bible is a book that is condemning and that we shouldn't be promoting the Bible, and that in the Bible you find vulgarity. Okay. So that's one of his friends. Okay. That the Bible backs up or promotes incest, rape, etc. Okay, which it does not. What the Bible does is it points out the sins. Okay, and the Bible actually condemns it and does not promote it. So he this is the type of people that he aligns with. So here you go, attacking. conservative parents. And I have a whole bunch of these. Okay. I want you to understand that I have a whole bunch of these little clips from his social media in which he is attacking conservative parents. And I'll tell you my personal experience with him. When I met Adam Trone, it was a couple of years before, I think 2023, when he was running for school board. And the way I met him was because in our community at the time, there was a group, the Cumberland Voices for Change, I believe was their name. I'm not sure they still exist. They probably do. Anyway, so they were promoting all this LGBTQ stuff and, trying to shove it down the throats of the citizens of Cumberland County. And my husband, me and my husband, we're the type of people that we believe in talking things out. Okay, show us what you believe, and we'll show you what we believe, and we'll come to some sort of agreement, if we can, in the middle ground, all for the sake of peace and sanity. Okay, but in my husband suggesting that Adam Trunk felt that that gave him the red light to dox my family, dox my husband. So he and some of his friends, okay, here in Cumberland County, decide that it's going to be cute to dox where my husband works and put it out, okay, in public. Okay, hence, and in essence, endangering my family. Because, in the days that we live, that's something you just don't do to anybody. So when we found out that everything was happening, I said, okay, not a problem. And I always tell people, you need to know who you're messing with. Okay. And what people do for a living. That being stated, um, I was able to locate where he works. Okay. He's a teacher in the Dallas Town School District. And I was able to contact his employer, show them the post, show what he did, file an educator's complaint against him. They told him to cut it out. Okay. And of course, he's looking to keep by it. But that's how I became acquainted with Trone. Okay. By him committing another illegal act. Okay. And condoning this illegal act. So I am saying this to say that we have to be very careful who we allow in these seats. Elections have consequences, people. Okay, elections have consequences. And if you think that this is a good candidate, okay, you need to come to these meetings. You need to speak to people that have had experiences with this man. Okay, and understand that this is a very dangerous candidate. This seat will be very dangerous to give to him. Anybody that votes him or is thinking of voting him, educate, not by one side, by both sides, okay? And weigh this in. This is not the candidate that we need for the position of state assembly. Absolutely not, because what he's going to try to do is spread his socialism in the ranks while he's there. That's what he's looking to do, okay? And continue to promote his work agendas, okay, his views, okay, his goals, and finish destroying Cumberland County. And Cumberland County already have an issue with the candidates and the lack of qualification of the candidates that are running. And this is one man that's not qualified to be a school board director, and much less, okay, can he even, think or dream that he's going to be able to fill Cheryl Delosier's shoes? Absolutely not. And the other candidate that's running, alongside him, Saga Agerton, that's another one. She is not, she's not a gem. I'm telling you guys, she's not a gem. Do your homework. Elections have consequences. So, with that being stated, we are going to conclude by reminding you, and here's the proof of the bribery. Okay, when he tried to bribe one of our school board directors, promising the director that he will make them and he will help make him the president of the school board if he votes on their side in retaining a solicitor that the parents did not want, the bulk of the community did not want, but they wanted. Okay. And the solicitor was not a good fit. Was not a good fit. And was, I think, over a decade with the West Shore School District. I think it was like a decade or so. And here's the proof. Okay. This is from Adam Chung's cell phone. From his cell phone, trying to bribe a school board member. So, guys, I would encourage you that it's time to start looking amongst the people that you know in the community for a good, solid, conservative candidate, somebody that has the best interest of the community. Okay, not the best interest of only part of the community, somebody with the heart of a servant, somebody that will understand that they are a servant to their constituents, somebody who will respect all constituents, no, it doesn't matter, what walk of life, because you are their servant. And I would highly suggest to say no to Adam Trone, because honestly, putting Adam Trone in this position is nothing less than a joke. So this is Mariana from the Boiling Point, signing out. Okay, remember, elections have consequences, and I would suggest that you research the candidates that you have in mind. God bless you. Until next week.